Angie Dickinson names the woman most hurt by Hollywood men. Angie Dickinson was born Angeline Brown on September 30th, 1931 in Culm, North Dakota. Growing up in a small town in the Midwest, she was raised in a close family that believed in hard work, education, and never giving up. Her parents, Frederica and Leo Henry Brown, had German family roots, and her father worked as a newspaper editor, which made young Angie love words, talking to people, and learning about the world beyond her hometown. When she was 11 years old, her family moved to Burbank, California, a change that would put her right next to the entertainment industry, without her even knowing it. Though Angie at first had no dreams of becoming an actress, being so close to Hollywood would eventually change her life. In her early years, Angie focused on school and graduated from Immaculate Art College with a degree in business. She worked for a short time as a secretary. Her beautiful looks and confident style soon got people's attention. In the early 1950s, she entered a local beauty pageant, the Miss America preliminary pageant, and came in second, which led to chances in modeling and small acting roles. Her first television appearance came through shows like Death Valley Days and The Colgate Comedy Hour, where her natural charm and expressive face got the attention of producers. Little by little, Angie Dickinson began to make her mark in Hollywood, a place she would call home for the rest of her life. Her big break came when she was cast to star with John Wayne in Rio Bravo 1959, directed by Howard Hawks, as Feathers. A lively saloon girl, Dickinson brought warmth, wit, and an independent spirit to a role that could have been boring in other people's hands. Her chemistry with Wayne was electric, and her performance earned her the Golden Globe Award for New Star of the Year. From that moment, Angie Dickinson was no longer just another pretty face in Hollywood. She was a real leading lady, admired for her strength, attractiveness, and intelligence. Her ability to play different kinds of roles allowed her to move easily between movies and television, drama, and comedy, making her one of the most respected talents of her generation. Throughout the 1960s and 1972, Dickinson appeared in a bunch of successful films, including Ocean's 111,960 with Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack, The Killers 1964 Point Blank 1967 with Lee Marvin, and Big Bad Mama 1974, which showed her as a daring and fearless actress who wasn't afraid to challenge what society expected. However, it was her groundbreaking distinctive role in Policewoman 1974 to 1978 that truly made her legendary. A Sergeant Suzanne Pepper Anderson, Dickinson became one of the first women to lead a dramatic television series in a law enforcement role. Her portrayal broke down walls for female representation on screen and inspired a whole generation of women to see themselves in positions of authority and strength. The show earned her a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress and multiple Emmy nominations, making sure she had her place in television history. As the decades passed, Angie Dickinson continued to work steadily in film and television, appearing in projects such as Dress to Kill, 1980, Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, 1993, and the remake of Ocean's 11, 2001, in which made a cameo that honored her earlier work. Her career lasting over 6 decades is proof of her ability to adapt and her lasting appeal. She has been celebrated not only for her beauty and charisma, but also for her intelligence and quiet strength in an industry that often doesn't value women as they get older. By 2009, Angie Dickinson had mostly stepped back from the Hollywood spotlight, but she made one final-touching return to the screen in the Hallmark Channel drama Mending Fences. In this made-for-TV movie, she co-starred with Laura Leighton, best known for her role on Melrose Place. The story was about family distance, making up, and the healing power of understanding. An emotional story that perfectly fit Dickinson's depth and warmth as an actress. Though the film was modest in size, it carried great emotional meaning, especially of Dickinson's age and stage in life at the time. Her performance was gently yet powerful, filled with a lifetime of experience and grace. It was not just another acting role. It was a quick goodbye to a career that had lasted more than 5 decades. For longtime fans, Mending Fences was a reminder of why Angie Dickinson had stayed so beloved. Her ability to bring real feeling to every character, her effortless elegance, and her lasting presence that could lift up even the simplest of scripts. Today, Angie Dickinson is remembered as a trailblazer, a woman who helped change Hollywood's image of femininity. She combined glamour with toughness, attractiveness with strength, and style with real substance. Her influence can be seen in every strong female television character that came after her, from Cagney and Lacey to LaWanda Order SVU. Angie Dickinson's romantic life, much like her career, was rich, complex, and deeply connected with some of the most famous people of her generation. Her first marriage was to Joan Dickinson, a college football star who later built a successful career in the electronics industry. The two were married in 1952 at a time when Angie was still building her place in Hollywood, taking on smaller roles that would soon lead to stardom. Although they separated in 1956, their marriage was officially ended in 1960. Despite the separation, Angie chose to keep the last name Dickinson, which by then had become part of her public identity. It wasn't just a name. It was the beginning of the personality the world would come to know, the elegant, intelligent, and fiercely independent Angie Dickinson. During this time, she developed a close friendship with the famous economist John Kenneth Galbraith and his wife Catherine. Her relationship with the Galbraiths opened her world to high-level intellectual and political circles, and she often visited them socially. Angie went along with them during Galbraith's appointment as US ambassador to India, a period described in great detail in his books Ambassador's Journal and A Life in Our Times. Those experiences gave her a deeper understanding of diplomacy, culture, and world affairs, an unusual opportunity for a young Hollywood actress at the time. After her divorce, Angie's life took another turn when she met celebrated composer Burt Bacharach. They married in 1965, forming what many viewed as a glamorous Hollywood power couple. Bacharach was already a musical genius, writing timeless hits for artists like Dionne Warwick and Dusty Springfield, while Dickinson was climbing to the height of her acting fame. Their marriage, which lasted 16 years, was filled with both passion and challenges. Toward the end, they went through a period of separation during which they both dated other people, showing the difficulty that often came with two creative people living under the same spotlight. On July 12, 1966, the couple welcomed their daughter, Leanne Bacharach, lovingly known as Nikki. Nikki was born too early and later diagnosed with autism, a condition that caused emotional and developmental challenges. Angie spent much of her life caring for her daughter, showing the depth of her love as a mother. Tragically, Nikki died by suicide on January 4, 2007. An event that deeply affected both Dickinson and Bacharach. Angie later spoke about the heartbreak of losing her only child, describing Nikki as a beautiful soul who could never find peace in this world. Bacharach himself passed away in 2023, ending a long chapter of shared memories, love, and loss. In the 1980s, Angie found companionship with musician Billy Vera, known for his soulful voice and heartfelt songs. Their relationship was lighthearted and creative, showing Angie's continued connection to the entertainment world. She even appeared in the music video for his hit single At This Moment, showing her willingness to try new forms of media and her lasting charm that reached across generations. Though their romance eventually ended, it was a meaningful and joyful chapter that showed Angie's openness to new experiences even after decades in Hollywood. During the 1990s, Angie's romantic life once again got public attention when she began dating well-known radio and television host Larry King. Their relationship was marked by mutual respect and affection. Both were experienced figures in the entertainment industry. Dickinson, the glamorous actress with a mysterious charm, and King, the quick-witted interview with a curiosity about a very own. Their companionship brought her warmth and stability during a time when many of her peers had stepped back from the spotlight. In 2023, Angie Dickinson made a revelation that surprised and fascinated fans and Hollywood historians alike. She confirmed that she had kept up a 20-year on-and-off affair with the legendary Frank Sinatra. She described Sinatra as the love of my life and one of the most charismatic men that ever lived. Their relationship, while never officially public, had long been rumored in Hollywood circles. Angie's description of Sinatra showed the tenderness and admiration that had lasted over decades. She often spoke about how their connection was based not just in physical attraction, but in mutual understanding, deep respect, and the shared loneliness that comes with fame. Sinatra, known for his romantic charm and complex emotional life, found in Angie someone who could match his intensity. Though their affair never led to a marriage, it remained one of the most important relationships of her life. approbate love that went beyond time and circumstance for decades. Angie Dickinson has been known as one of Hollywood's most captivating and outspoken women. A star who experienced firsthand the double standards and hidden cruelties of the entertainment industry. But even as she built her own successful career, Dickinson never shied away from speaking up for others who had been unfairly treated. In a rare honest reflection, she opened up about the woman she believes was the most hurt by Hollywood men. Her longtime friend and fellow screen star, Joan Collins. Joan was one of the toughest women ever knew, Dickinson began. And she had to be because Hollywood men didn't make it easy for her. She was beautiful, outspoken, and she knew her worth, and that in those days was enough to make enemies out of powerful men. Angie's words cut deep, painting a picture of an era when actresses were often punished amply for taking control over their image, their careers, or their personal lives. Dickinson explained that Joan Collins' rise to fame in the 1950s and 1960s came at a cost. Men in the business loved to use her looks, her charm, her energy, but they didn't want her to outshine them. She said, Joan was constantly being called difficult or temperamental, which was just code for a woman who refused to be controlled. It was a feeling that connected with Angie, who herself had faced similar whispers throughout her own career. People forget that Joan came from London with dreams of being a star and was thrown into a man's world, Angie continued. Every producer wanted to shape her. Every director wanted to tell her how to act, and every leading man wanted to tell her how to behave off screen. When she fought back, they branded her as arrogant. When she played Ellen, they called her shallow. There was no winning for women like her. Angie remembered the cruel gossip that often followed Collins through the press, stories planted by studio insiders and executives who hated her independence. Joan once told me, they'll adore you when you're young and easy to control, and they'll crucify you when you stop smiling on command. She was right. She learned it the hard way. Dickinson said that Collins' strength was often mistaken for vanity, and her professionalism for ambition, both unforgivable sins in the eyes of certain men who held the power to make or break careers. But Angie also pointed out that Joan's eventual triumph, particularly through her role as Alexis Carrington on Dynasty, was poetic justice. Hollywood that they could bury her, Dickinson said with a faint smile. But she came back like a storm. Alexis wasn't just a character. She was Joan's revenge in every man who had underestimated her. She turned that pain into power and showed the world that she couldn't balanced. Still, Dickinson said sadly that image done to Collins' reputation stayed with her for years. Even after Dynasty, some of those old producers and studio heads refused to give her the respect she earned. They couldn't stand the fact that a woman they'd tried to control had built her own empire. She said it wasn't just sexism. It was resentment, pure and simple. Joan had outlasted them. Angie admitted that she often saw herself reflected in Joan's battles. I know what it's like to be labeled, told that you've had your turn. I saw how Joan kept fighting when most people would have walked away. That's what made her remarkable. When asked Wish chose to speak up about Collins after so many years, Dickinson's response was heartfelt. Because history doesn't always tell the truth, she said quietly. They write about the men, the producers, the directors, the executives as if they were gods. But they forget the women they broke along the way. Joan was one of the best of us, and they tried to tear her down just for being herself. In her later years, Dickinson grew more thoughtful about the way women in Hollywood had been treated. We were expected to smile and keep our secrets, she admitted, but Joan never did. She had fire, and that's why they damned at her. With that, Angie Dickinson's tribute to Joan Collins stands not just as an act of friendship, but as a reckoning, a reminder that behind every glamorous star was often a woman forced to fight battles no man ever had to face. Joan, still here, still shining, Angie concluded. And maybe that's the sweetest revenge of all.